Hi folks, my name's Sean McCusker. I'm an artist, curator, and all-round art lover. Now I'm going to be showing you today how to wire hang your paintings for exhibit on the walls. This is a part of my video series on all things exhibition related. So if you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them in the comments and they might become other videos in this series. I happen to be doing this today for my own work in an exhibit I'm going to have at the Beckett Art Center in Beckett, Massachusetts. The show will open on April 26th, so please come check it out. We just got our cards in. The show is a culmination of my artist residency at the Art Center, and this was a project supported by a grant from Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation's Artists Resource Trust, and we're very proud of it. It's a big solo show in the upstairs gallery, so come by, check it out, and see me in person. With that, let's get on to the how-to part. So first of all, you want a good working surface. And here I've laid things out. I'm going to be working on small pieces for demonstration purposes, but I would normally have this whole table clear and have these on a side table next to me. But for this purpose, I want you to kind of see all the elements that we're going to be working with. And then the surface you want to be nice and soft, because we're going to be putting the paintings, framed or not, face down on this. And so you want a nice, clean, soft surface so that if it does happen to slide, you don't want anything to scratch the surface, especially if you're doing things like my oil paintings, which don't have a frame on them. There's no covering it, just the paint itself. So that's what I did here. This is actually a suede fabric material that I use for making my painting bags that I sell with my paintings. So this is an example of one of the bags. So the inside is a suede material, and that protects the painting in transit. And so this is just that suede material up top and a red version, which I got because they didn't have black anymore. Bought some red. And so we just want a nice clean surface. I'm seeing a couple little dirt specks, so I'm going to try to wipe those away. All right, and so then we need our piece. All right, so first thing we have to do is work out exactly where we're going to put our brackets to hang the wire across. So the good rule of thumb is you want to go 1/3 of the way from the top of the painting. This is the top of the painting here. We'd want to go about 1/3 of the way down. And it is a rough measurement. Now, if you have a really tall painting, you might want to go more or less in other circumstances. It kind of depends on what you have to work with. If it's really long, it might need to be higher and you need a really taut string. Good rule of thumb is about 1/3. The key is you want it to be the same distance on both sides. So if we estimate 1/3, we say, round about here. Now we want to have an even measurement over here. You want 1/3. Now you could measure that, but again, it doesn't have to be exact. And it looks like I was off quite a bit. I usually kind of eyeball it. A little hard upside down. Now you have a choice, and this is an aesthetic choice. When you buy a frame or a painting or a print or a photograph, it will have the hanger on the outside here. Now for me, I don't like it on the outside. The reason for that is I like the painting to hang as sort of as close to the wall as it can, so it gives a nice kind of flat look that you just see the wall and then you see the painting. And with the wire on this side, it gets in the way of that. It also, when you put the paintings together, if I had this piece, right, and I put them in the rack like this, right, if the wire was right here, it could scrape on the surface. Now, you don't want to put just two paintings face to back almost ever, and you don't want to kind of do it willy-nilly, but if you happen to, there's something that can kind of cause more harm. And so that's not good. So, thankfully, the way I like to paint, I have this nice inset area. And so I can put my hook, instead of on the outside, on the inside right in there. So I'm just going to put a little circle where I'm going to put my bracket. So now the brackets will be totally hidden inside, as well as the wire and everything. So I don't have to worry about managing that wire and it hitting or getting caught when you're pulling paintings in and out of a rack. All right, so now the next thing that we're going to do is I got to put some screws into this. These are D-rings, and these are what I prefer. You can use eye hooks or other versions. Eye hooks I find are a little bit worse because they don't close nice and flush like these do when they're not in use. These have a little bit more movement to them that you can do without messing your wire up. And eye hooks are just hard to install because you have to do it by hand. With these, we're just going to put in a nice little screw so we can just drill it right in. There's no need tweezing with our fingers with an eye hook. So on a drill pilot hole, you can do this with an awl as well. This is very soft wood that we're dealing with, but in the larger pieces, I like to drill. I'm going to try to get the dust away from my nice clean table. I'm not going all the way through. I'm not even going as deep as the screw is going to go. I'm just going in just that much. So we have enough to start, and then the screw is going to do the rest. Okay, so now we're going to put the hook in. Screw kind of started a little bit. I'm going to hold it down with one finger if I can. Gentle pressure. Tight. So we want the hook to be out and then away from the back of the painting. Try to hold it here and tighten it. Now, some people don't tighten these fully and they'll just kind of dangle. I don't like that because then you can, if it just dangles, you might hang it and it might hook there, but then eventually in moving it, it'll slip and just kind of jump down, or your measurements will be wrong because you measured it to hang vertically, and now it's hanging from this position, and so the height is off. It just causes problems. So I like it to be tight. If you have too thin of a backing, you might have to do it a little bit differently because you can't screw the screws in all the way or put in a washer or something. All right, so now we have those pieces together. Excellent. We're making good progress. So now we've got our hooks in. Now we need to wire it up. So I like to just get a spool of wire. Again, it's weighted for my heaviest paintings, my 2x4 foot pieces. So way overkill for this. But then I just don't have to worry about getting a size that's just right for the piece I'm using. I also prefer this threaded and coated wire. It just feels easier to work with. Fraying on the edges is not as big of a problem with this as non-coated. You want to cut it with enough length here that we can loop back around to quote-unquote tie it together. So a couple inches on either side. So this and this. All right, so there's our wire. Now we're going to feed them through the loop here, like this, from the top. Just like to do everything consistently. Okay, and then you can give it a little pinch. Give it a little pinch. And that way we can see how far up this is going to travel. Okay, so we want it a little bit. That's pretty good. And then we're going to loop this back through. What this secondary loop does is it leaves all of the tension here on our D-ring, which is what we want. We're then going to wrap this wire around here. That gives us extra friction so that it doesn't slip out of our D-ring. Some people do these nice and tight. It's just kind of personal preference. It does look prettier if it's nice and tight, and if you get a painting done in a frame shop, that's how it will be done. Now, before we finalize this side, we can again check our tension, make sure we have enough to get up above the painting. Let me show it that way. We want it to come behind the painting so that when we hang it, we have room to hang it, but not too much that whatever our hanging thing goes behind. That is good. I'll wrap this around. There'll always be a little bit of extra at the end of this wrapping process. That's not where it's going. Now we have it nicely tied. It's going to hold up. I like to lift the painting up, make sure that it lasts. And it's also good to just give it a little squeeze here. That gets rid of any bend that you're going to have with these brackets, so that now this wire is exactly where it's going to hang. Now, this is a 10-inch by 10-inch piece. This is never going to bend any of this, but it's good practice to be in for with your larger works. You might want it. If you have your D-rings just on the outer edge, you could hang just from the D-rings themselves. You need then 2 points. Usually you just put 2 screws into the wall and they'll hang directly on that. It's a little bit harder to do because you have to be very precise twice and level twice. So it's a little bit harder. The nice thing about one of the other benefits of wire hanging is if I hung this in the gallery and then I said, oh, it's a little bit too high or a little bit too low, if my gallery walls are really nice and I screwed into them and I don't want to kind of dirty them up by having another screw hole I got to patch, you can loosen this wire and rewire it to a different height. And that's where, with a larger painting and that 1/3 space, you have more of a gap to be able to adjust. So that's just one of the benefits of wire hanging. Now, this is an entirely optional thing, but something that I like to do is put little bumpers on the back of the painting. And the reason for that is my paintings are all almost entirely painted on the edges. There's no frame around it. And so this painted edge here can make a mark on the wall. That is removing material from my painting, which isn't good, but it's the back, so I really don't care too much about that. But it is going to mark up the wall, and that's not good. So we don't want to mess up anybody's nice gallery walls that we're hanging in. So to prevent that, you can put little bumpers on here. Now, I have experimented, and you can get little felt sticky pads that you can stick to these. A lot of my oil paintings are on custom built frames that I've made out of masonite, and the masonite doesn't hold the sticky glue that well. Now I could probably use another glue, but I am a lazy man, and my ultimate solution has been to get these little rubber bumpers that are screwed in. Now these are a lot thicker than they need to be. They're just the smallest ones that I can find. These are fine for the really large pieces that I use, and that's primarily what I got them for, but you know, this would be just as useful at 1/8 of an inch thick. If anybody knows where to get any of those, please let me know. I would love to buy them. We just put the screw inside. So, and then we're going to put it not on the corner here. Actually, let me do it on this. Not on the corner here, but you want it just to the side. And inside, we don't want it to flap over the edge. These, again, are a little bit big for this size canvas. Now, these are very much overkill for this size painting. be honest. Any size that I do, these are still overkill for. But they're going to give us a nice little bumper to the wall, which will keep the gallery wall nice and clean, so that people are happy that we leave their walls nice and clean when we leave, and does protect the painting so that it's not scraping all of this paint on that wall. And if these bumpers hit, you know, say another one of our paintings, they're nice and rubber, and so less likely to damage than, say, this wire sticking out. And that is the process. So now you can see we have it like this. Our wire is going to stick out. We can grab it on our hanger, and then it's going to hang. So that's how to wire hang a painting. Thank you for checking it out, and hope to see you next time. Again, if you have any questions about the hanging process, please let me know, and we'll go into the video pipeline. I am going solo with my creative process right now, so I will have a lot more videos coming out in the future. Please, like the video and subscribe if you want to get notified about new videos coming out as they do. And check out my my socials on my website, Sean-McCusker.com. That's SEAN-MCCUSKER.com. And please come to the Beckett Art Center in Beckett, Massachusetts this April 26th for the opening reception of my exhibit. You can see all of these on the walls. And yeah, I hope to see you later, and have fun making art.